Chris Bono, thank you so much for coming on and taking a trip down memory lane with me, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It gives me something to do today. I'm I'm all cooped up at the house, so that I'm actually fired up to get on this thing. I gotta get going. Got to keep doing some stuff.
I heard that. Yeah, you don't seem like the kind of guy that can sit still in one place for too long. Is that right?
No, I'm struggling, man. There's only so much you can do on this computer and your phone, and I know readers getting sick of me. We found out what Zoom is all about. So we Zoom each other now instead of FaceTiming. So just something something stupid to keep doing.
All right, all right. Well, I got something to occupy your time here. I got a match from 2007. Looks like the U.S. Open Finals between you and Jared Frayer. Jared Frayer, as everyone kind of knows, was NCAA finalist for OU. Made the 2012 Team U national champion for Iowa State, and you made three teams.
Yeah, I made three teams.
Okay. So this is I want to talk a little bit about this match, but before we actually really get into it, I want to kind of get an idea of exactly what the ramifications were like at the time. So I know now if you win the U.S. Open, you get a bye to the finals of the trials finals or final X, depending upon if the person in your weight class medaled or not. Was that the same thing at the time?
Let me think. So 2007, man, they were playing with all kinds of changes around that time. 2007, I know I won the U.S. Open, but I don't remember. Did I sit out? I didn't make the team. You know what? I think that's when Schwab beat me in the 2 out of 3. So yeah, I did sit out. So it definitely was. If you won the Open, you got to sit out until the finals of the trials.
Okay. Now, where were you training at the time? Because I mean, the training landscape looked a whole heck of a lot different than it does now.
Man, I was the head coach at Tennessee Chattanooga in 2007. So that's where I was training.
So you were a full-time head coach at a Division I institution and training full-time.
Right, and had been for a couple of years. I think that was my maybe my second year I was a head coach there. Maybe first or second.
So can you describe what it's kind of like and how the landscape of senior level training has changed since 2007?
Oh, it's night and day. These full-time RTCs are something else. But I also believe that it wouldn't have mattered where or what was going on if you put me as a head coach and the way I was focused and the way I was going. Fast forward it even now, if I was still young enough and able, I could compete with these guys that are doing it full time. I was a full-time wrestler. I was every day. It wasn't like I feel like some of these guys now, they want to train like MMA fighters and I have a tournament coming up and I'm going to put a 4-week camp together or a 6-week camp and do this and do that. And I feel like then they take 6 weeks off and they want that. They want to train like that. I was a guy that did something every day. Even when I had nothing to train for, I was wrestling, I was running, I was getting better. Or at least I thought I was getting better in my own mind. So, but it's changed drastically. These guys feel like they need a full-time RTC, training situation. And don't get me wrong, I believe it's really helped our country immensely.
Okay. So what would a day look like for you, right? Because you have to balance being a head coach, which, especially at a place like UT Chattanooga, especially over 10 years ago, I got to think that you were, you didn't exactly have a recruiting coordinator and you didn't have so it's like, it's not like when you have the job in Wisconsin now, you have kind of a lot of bells and a lot of whistles. You were kind of bare bones in it at the time and training full time. So what did a day in the life look like in 2007?
Well, I tell you what, I had no family life. It was a decision that my family let me do because I had made a promise that my team came first. And no matter what had happened, I had to sacrifice my training for the team. That was when I talked to my AD and when I talked to my guys, there was no way I would ever sacrifice my guys to keep training. So basically, I would have to get up earlier than when those guys were working out, and we worked out at 5:45, 6 in the morning. So my runs and lifts were at 4:15, 4:30 in the morning to get my cardio in, and then we would train those guys in the morning. And then I would work all day and do what we had to do to help the team. And then I would wrestle about an hour and a half before our scheduled practice. So if we practiced at 1:30, I'd go down and make sure I got my wrestling workout in. And I kind of hired a coach too. And I don't want to say hired because I didn't pay him anything. But I'll never forget. But I had Mike Hatcher. Mike wrestled at the University of Iowa and was running a club in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I got a hold of him and said, "Hey, man, I need someone to blow a whistle for me. I need someone to push me through some things. I don't expect you to be there all the time, but this guy, he ran it for me, and he took care of me. And we became great friends over the couple of years that he really, blew the whistle and really held me accountable. When I said I wanted to do this workout, he wrote it up and did it. When I wanted to make sure the volume was there, he made sure I did it all. And so he was kind of the guy, and he held me accountable every single day. So I had to have my time management down. I couldn't, say, Mike, we're going to practice at 1:30, and then I'd have a meeting at 1:30 and be done at 2, right? I had to have my time management was key to me. So I was very, very organized, and luckily enough, I had a lot of support around me with the community and my family, and Mike leading the way.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this match itself. How many times did you wrestle Frayer? Do you remember?
You know what? I think he has more wins over me than I do him. I don't recall ever beating him except for this match.
Is that right?
He had beat me in Bulgaria once, and I think he beat me in the trials one time when they were in Sioux City. I think I don't remember, but that was another one. I'd won the U.S. Open, and they didn't let the guy sit out of the finals, and I lost in the first round to Frayer in the trials. So I think he has beaten me twice, and I beat him once. I could be wrong.
Okay, now, I mean, one of the things that kind of sticks out in my mind about Frayer is like, golly, he has some bombs from 2 overs. He's got great underhook stuff. Was there anything that you knew going into this match that you had to stay the heck away from?
Yeah, you just said it. Number one was his underhook. I never felt threatened from him with a leg attack. But his leg attacks were always, his leg attack to upper body, or he always used his leg attacks to set up where he was good. So I never felt threatened with him getting to my legs. I almost hoped he would shoot. I felt comfortable in getting him in a front headlock position. So I wasn't too worried, but underhooks I was a little concerned. He never was able to throw me. I never got double overhooked by anybody. But then I was always worried about getting underneath him. If you took a shot on him, you better get an angle. If your head was inside, that's when he was going chest wrap, where he was real good. But if your head goes outside, that's where he really wanted you when you get high crotch position. He was real good in there as well with his his front head pinch and things like that. So it was more of a counter guy. So you had to really kind of play the game. And then when he got on top of you, you had to watch his high gut, and he was real good on top as well.
Okay. Hey, Ilan, let's get this thing moving, man. I can't wait to just get to this match. Let's start the match. Look at that. Bono's in shape, son. You look good.
Yeah, see, right to the underhook already.
Yeah.
And I watched this match. There it is, underhook, and I go down there because I don't want to, and really. I watched it, the philosophy.
Pause it right there. Pause it there. Hold on a second. Okay. So he's going hard left on a gut, and that looks miserable, by the way. Do you know he's going to turn back, go the other way? Like, do you kind of feel that?
I always never felt threatened with him going left. So, yeah, I was always right was the game plan against him.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ilan.
And then if you can go back. I make a big mistake here, and this is a very teachable moment. If you could go back right when I reached for his leg, this is number one mistake you do on gut wrench defense. Right here, see me right there, left arm comes underneath. Right when I reach
Yes.
for his leg there, it's you're getting turned.
Why do we teach that?
Right.
We teach it like we teach knee picks.
I don't know. I just know I was taught never to do it. Don't grab. And I didn't move my right arm. I didn't move my right hand at all. I stayed stationary there and reached under to grab his leg. And maybe I knew I was already gone. I don't remember exactly what I'm thinking at that moment, but I knew I know that's a wrong thing to do.
Okay, yeah, let her play there, Alon. Golly.
Yeah.
So
terrible.
What we have to remember here, pause it for a second. Actually, you know what? Let it run, Alon. Let it run. I'm sorry. So just so I can talk over this, and this is important to recognize, the rules at the time were really, really different. Oh, crap. We missed the takedown. Hey, Alon, go back to the beginning before he gets that takedown, and we'll.
So what was it? 6-0 was a tech fall, right? This is 3 periods.
Yeah, so it was. Okay, so that's where I was about to get to. So let's pause it right there, Alon. We have to think about it this way. Takedowns were 1, turns were 2, but it was a 3-period, not consecutive, not cumulative scoring. So if you won 2 out of the 3 periods, you won. A tech fall only counted for that period, and it was 6 points better than your opponent. So right out the gate, and by the way, this was a very low scoring point in wrestling history. So just to kind of give everyone a scope of what, just how impactful this is now, like, holy crap, it's 5-0, and they're 30 seconds into this match? Like, now, here's the question. What is your mindset right now going down 5-0? Do you kind of concede this period, or do you B, immediately start trying to get back to it?
Yeah, I remember this. I'm glad you asked it. All I could think about was I'm going to see how tired I could try to get him in the next minute and a half. That's all. I was never going to concede. I was going to wrestle as hard as I could for the next minute and a half. And whatever happened, happened. I wasn't, I've come back before from that, but I wanted to get him exhausted. So for the next 2 periods, that was my game plan now.
Interesting. Okay, let it run there, Alon.
And if I started doing that right off the whistle.
Say that again, Coach.
I should have been doing that right off the whistle, but Frayer has that thing, man. It was when you attacked his legs, I was always afraid to attack his legs when the score was 0-0 because I didn't want to go down, 2-0, 3-0 when he started doing his whoop-de-doo stuff on you,
I love that you call it whoop-de-doo stuff. When we were in California together, I just all I wanted to do is focus on you saying whoop-de-doo.
That's it, man. You get on a leg, and next thing you know, whoop-de-doo, you're losing.
Okay, I'm going to stop that. Go ahead, Alon. Let it run. Let it run. Okay, so now you can keep it going there, Alon, but how comfortable are you in that front headlock position there that you jump right from a possible gut to that front headlock, that short offense position?
I wanted to get back to my feet.
Really?
I wanted to wear him out. Yeah, I wanted to wear him out. I'm not comfortable. I have nothing from out front headlock. When the guy's in parterre, I wanted to get to my feet. See, here you go. This is where he wants to be, right? And again, I go straight to my belly. And giving up 1 here is a lot better, than giving up 2 and I get teched and lose the period.
Yeah, and then you don't not only because you're going to wind up losing the period here anyway, but at least if you get teched, then you don't get to wear on them for the next, 45, 50 seconds.
40 seconds, yeah, 50 seconds left. So
interesting.
Yeah, it was. That's all this was about. I tend to lose a lot of these first periods, when it was like this whole with this style. See, this is all I'm trying to do. This is what I should have been doing from the beginning. There it's that easy, and that was kind of the game plan from the very beginning, is to pull him down and run around him, and pull him down and wear him,
just grab him by the ear and pull him down.
And pull him down and wear on him. This is the funny thing too. I remember this so vividly. If you look in the background, Tom Ortiz comes over. He was my college coach, and he yells at me.
Yo, it's so funny that you say that. I was going to ask you who that guy was. He gives you an earful. Huh?
Yeah. He came and yelled at me right there. He was my college coach, him and Bobby. He told me to get my ass moving. I remember it. Because that was Frayer's MO right there. He was going to underhook, start fast, and gut you. Now you got to play his game. There he tries to underhook. Now this is where he wants, right? He's got 2 periods to hit you with, again, 1 or 2 whoop-de-doos and get you.
So offensively, are you trying to at least – so you scored pretty darn easily off of a high single. Is that the idea right now? Is like, okay, I got to kind of bear down, hand fight, make sure that it's not just a high crotch or a diving, swing single type of thing. Are you thinking more just high single, like foot stomp type of singles?
That's it. That's all I want him. I'm either going to pull him down or I'm going to run to his leg and try to run him out of bounds. That's all I was. And right now I start feeling comfortable. See how he's faking. I know nothing's coming, and there it is. And this is where I want to be. That's what I said. I knew when he'd take it, when he would shoot, I could get to this kind of position. That was the strategy right there. And there you can see him starting to wear a little bit. See him take a big, deep breath. I got a lot of confidence right now. Here I go.
Let me ask you, and you can keep it running there, Ilan. And the only time I want you to stop is if there is a takedown. But how much does that register when you're in the moment? Do you see him take? Oh, stop it right there, Ilan. Stop it right there, Ilan.
Yeah. So there it is, right? So you go back 30 seconds. I see him take the deep breath. As I'm pulling now, I'm actually getting more. I'm getting more progress with my pulls. He's actually now his hands are touching the mat. I'm moving his feet more. So I see him getting a little tired. I see my pulls are starting to have a little more action to them. A little more progress, and then what's he do? He takes a bad shot, and I'm able to run around him here and lock up a cradle. That was kind of my MO. That's why I didn't win too many first periods, because that stuff doesn't really work in the first period in 2 minutes. It usually doesn't come into play till 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes into a match.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Let it run along. You get your hands locked here. Are you getting greedy? Are you thinking pin, or are you just trying to?
No. I know 2 points wins the match right now. For me, I know a 2-point win the match, and I don't know how, because look, there's 50, or it wins the period. There's only 15 seconds left in the period, and they actually give me 1 for a takedown and 2 for a turn. So I was even happier about that. Mm-hmm. So I didn't need the fall. I wasn't going to worry about it. I just wanted to win this period, make sure I had another 1 more to go.
Okay. Now they're going to show Frayer's corner, who was, I believe, Terry and Jamil. Looks like Terry.
Yep.
What was Zeke and KJ saying to you in your corner at this time?
That was Sean Charles. That was Sean Charles, I believe, right?
Was it? Okay, I'm sorry, Sean Charles. Oh, right, ASU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was KJ and Zeke saying to you in your corner right now? You dropped the first one pretty big, right? But then you sneak out a takedown, or at least an exposure point in the second to win late. What was going through their head or coming out of their mouth, I guess I could say?
They knew I had a game plan, right? I always consider myself, I didn't need too much to tell me, do this, do that, do this. They were just reassuring me, hey, I remember Zeke used to tell me all the time, you're a lifer. These guys shouldn't stay with you. You're a lifer. This is 24/7 for you. They don't take it serious like you do. And that would motivate me a little bit, I didn't need it. They were just, go win the match, things like that. It wasn't so much technical, as it was more of a, getting me fired up, because that's what I knew. I trained harder than everybody, and I knew that, I deserved to win. And that's all I needed to be told.
Just a reminder.
That's it. There, I was.
You're not even biting.
This is all about, I know one takedown wins. I know I get a point, it's over. And here he makes a bad mistake, right? He looks like he gets hurt. You know what I mean? And I capitalize on it, run him out of bounds. He rolls his ankle a little bit. I remember he rolled his ankle. I think he get taped here or something. But again, he should have just dropped down and taken a timeout and not allowed me to run him out of bounds, which was a point.
Yeah.
And so now I know.
Let's pause it right now. Let's pause it right here. Okay. Time is left in the match. Can you back
1 minute, 50 seconds.
50 seconds. Okay. So there's, golly, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So there's less than a minute left. You're up by 1. What is the game plan?
Hand fight, pull him down, get him underneath me. That's all I needed to do. I knew, and don't get underhooked. I knew if I defended underhook, I wasn't worried. If he got to my leg, that was not a concern of mine. Just, I knew I could defend. I knew he wasn't good at really or comfortable being on the legs. He wanted to go legs to underhook, to body lock, to double overs, so I knew I had to hand fight. And if I was able to run to the leg and run him out of bounds, that's what I was going to do. But I was not going to go to my knee and go underneath the guy.
Okay. Now, here's the question. I want you to flip over to coach mode right now. Would you tell one of your athletes to do something different, man? You know
what? I think it all depends on the situation in the match. This guy's dangerous. You go high crotch on him, you're going to lose. Especially when he goes for broke. When that's all he knows, when he knew he needed to do it, he would go get anybody and get a 2-point move. So, stay in the center of the mat, move your feet, hand fight him to death. Move his head front. How many times can you front headlock him and just hold on to the position till the referee lets you stay in there 10, 15 seconds, act like you're working. That's what I would tell him. I was a hand fighter. I knew it was hard to get to my legs and, a 1-0 lead. It just depends on who the athlete was, but for sure I wouldn't tell him to run away. I'd be in there. Make sure you hand fight this guy and don't let him underhook you, and you're going to win. Because
if you can see, immediately, as soon as you score that point and you restart, your stance immediately gets higher. Immediately starts to defend upper body stuff. Like you look like almost Greco, right? So it's like, holy cow, I don't know. Now, I don't know if I would tell every athlete to do that, but like you said, situationally, that might be the best call. Okay, Alon, let's get back to the tape.
Yeah, and I didn't want him to jump over top and get in that double, like the chest wrap position. See, there's underhook, right? I defend. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want him to. There's underhook again. So I'm comfortable here. There's underhook again. I defend, right? See, he's a little banged up, which was.
He is. He's right. He's a little banged up.
Right. Unfortunate. See him try to pull and get on top of me there. He wants to get you down on all fours so he can go chest wrap. I'm grabbing his fingers too. They stop us. Whatever you can do here, right?
Yeah. Look, Robin's racing, man. You got to rest.
Right.
There.
See him try to go double overs there. Grab his wrist. There's, as long as I control that far wrist, I knew that too. I have 2 hands on the wrist. He has nothing.
Yeah, he was looking for help from referee here.
See me grab his fingers. Yeah, that's all right. There was no rules back then. You could you could interlock your fingers there. There, see, try to pull you. I knew what he was going to do, and he was just executing the game plan here at the end and just holding my base, staying in the middle of the mat.
Pretty good. That was it. That's a heck of a match.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Sure it was, man. Sure it was. Right, think about it. You got in a time when, let's be honest, right? I don't know if people realize this. If you didn't score, you went to the ball grab, right? They would grab a ball out of a bag, and
was that then? Well, yeah, I guess it was. That's right.
Had to be,
that was
right?
miserable.
So, and then the person that lost got to give up their leg. Could you imagine? That?
I got one good. Let me tell you about one good story with the ball grab. I wrestled Jared Lawrence one time. I'll never forget this, right? I wrestled Jared Lawrence one time. And at the end of what was it? It was he went out there and he went out. I think he teched me 6-0 first period. It was close to that, and I was like, man. Then we went to the ball grab second period. I won the ball. It was 0-0. I won the ball grab and finished the takedown on him. Third period, 0-0. I got the ball grab and finished and moved on to the tournament. So I didn't score one offensive point. He scored 6 in the first period, and I won the match. He was so mad. He was so mad. I know, and I thought, I mean, the rules were crazy. The rules were crazy.
Could you imagine that now? Like we can't even some of these, and I don't want to sound like an old curmudgeon, but like some of these kids realize how kind of bass backwards those rules were, right?
Right. You know what? I think it promoted low scoring. You know what I mean? Because if you were wrestling a guy that was way better than you, and the only chance you had was to go 0-0 and see if you couldn't win the ball grab twice.
And some people
stall and hang out. Yeah, and some of those, some of those guys let you. You know what I mean? It's really on the guy that was the better wrestler. He let you do those things. So whatever. You always had to wrestle the rules. I wrestled so long. I wrestled in about 6 different rule sets. So the best rule set that there was the 1 5-minute period, and if you didn't score 3 points, you went to a 3-minute overtime. And the first guy to 3, that was the best. That was the best one. So you could, if you wrestled, you take them to 8 minutes. That was my, and I was a young kid at the time, so I was beating a lot of those better guys, like 2-1 at the end of 8 minutes. So we still wouldn't score 3 points.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, people forget about that 1 5-minute period. Boy, like even that in and of itself with no breaks. Man, it was something. Yep. Now, it wasn't quite as continuous because there was no step out rule, right? So you could kind of go out of bounds and fix your socks.
They could still hit you with a caution in 1. They could hit you with a caution in 1 back then, and then they also would hit you with they put you up or down, right? They blow the whistle and give the guy a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was, that was when I really had to learn how to defend, because they were always putting somebody down again, like to try to get some points generated.
Right. All right, Coach, thank you so much for taking a walk with me and going over some of this footage, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's great memories. I don't go back and watch my old films anymore because I'm done and I'm a has-been, so when you're able to see some of your, yourself compete, it's pretty cool because it brings back the memories, and, exactly what you're thinking in between periods. And, it brought back all those early mornings and late nights that you're training and cutting weight and getting prepared to try to win, so it's always nice to go back and see something like that.